What if I told you there exists a lake which is deeper than many of the world's seas? A lake that sits in the deepest scar on the surface of the Earth. A lake so deep that even some military-grade submarines cannot reach its depths. A bottomless lake that has long inspired legends of monsters living underneath and portals to a different dimension. Be prepared to delve into the world's strangest and most unique water body, Lake Baikal, on this episode of Stranger Than Fiction. Although all of Earth's human population resides on dry land, 71% of the planet's surface is covered by water. Most of the Earth's water is in the form of salt water found in the oceans, while the majority of fresh water is trapped in glaciers, ice caps, and permafrost. The remaining fresh water is found in the Earth's lakes. There are some huge lakes across the planet, such as the Great Lakes of North America, Lake Tanganyika, and the Caspian Sea, which despite its name is technically a lake since it is completely landlocked. But the most interesting lake in the world is located in a sparsely populated corner of the globe. In southeastern Siberia, around 1,500 kilometers north of Mongolia and at the geographical heart of Asia, lies Lake Baikal. At first glance, Baikal appears impressive, but not as spectacular as some of the other major lakes in the world. After all, it is less than half the surface area of Lake Michigan, a little over a third the size of Lake Superior, and just around 1/10 the size of the Caspian Sea. Baikal has a surface area of around 31,722 square kilometers, which, while big, only ranks at 7th place in the world and is considerably smaller than many of the other lakes mentioned. However, looks can be deceiving. Quite astonishingly, despite its modest size, Baikal contains 23,610 cubic kilometers of water, around twice as much as the much larger Lake Superior and around 5 times as much as Lake Michigan. In fact, Baikal alone has more volume of water than all the Great Lakes of North America combined. So how exactly is it possible for a lake of this size to contain so much water? Because it is deep, really deep. You see, Baikal has an average depth of a whopping 744 meters or 2440 feet, which is almost as deep as the Burj Khalifa is tall. And that is just the average depth across the lake. At its deepest point, Baikal is an eye-watering 1,642 meters or 5,387 feet deep, which is just staggering to comprehend. That makes it one of the deepest bodies of water on the whole planet. Not only does that make Baikal much deeper than Lake Superior and Caspian Sea, it is also deeper than the Baltic Sea, the Red Sea, the North Sea, the Andaman Sea, and its deepest point is still deeper than the average depth of the Arctic Ocean, the Black Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea. That means that 5.5 Eiffel Towers, stacked one on top of the other, would be completely submerged in Baikal. If your mind is not blown just yet, consider this sensational finding. Below this humongous volume of water at Baikal lies another 7 kilometers or 4.3 miles of sediment. This means the rift floor is a hardly believable 8 to 11 kilometers or 5.6 to 8 miles from the surface of the lake, making it the deepest continental rift on Earth. So the total depth of the structure from the surface to the bottom of the sediment is almost as deep as the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on the planet. So how did this unique lake come into being, and why is it so completely different to any other inland water body in the world? To answer that question, let us take you through a short explanation of how lakes are formed in the first place. Most of the Earth's lakes are created when glaciers retreat. A lot of the Earth's fresh water is frozen in the form of glaciers and ice caps, and this becomes much more severe during the planet's ice ages when the polar caps grow large. When ice ages come to an end, much of the frozen water melts, leading to the formation of lakes and rivers. Almost all the lakes that we now see in the world were formed when the last ice age concluded around 100,000 years ago. However, there are a few ancient lakes which are much older, and they are formed in a completely different way, as a consequence of plate tectonics. When two tectonic plates of the Earth's crust move away from one another, a rift valley begins to form, and the forces of erosion deepen these rifts over time, creating an enormous pit in the surface of the planet. That is exactly how Baikal formed, with the lake situated on a divergent plate boundary where the Amur plate is slowly tearing itself away from the Eurasian plate. So, Baikal is sitting in a deep, ancient scar on the surface of the Earth, and the lake is thought to be a mind-numbing 25 to 30 million years old, which, by some estimates, makes it the oldest lake on the planet. That means the lake potentially came into existence not long after the time that the Indian subcontinent collided with Asia, leading to the formation of the Himalayan mountain ranges. Baikal existed in the Oligocene epoch, the period from 33 to 23 million years ago, where the animal life on the planet was quite different to what we see now, with species such as Diodon, Paraceratherium, a giant older ancestor of the rhinoceros, and Paraphysornis, a large, flightless predatory bird, roamed the planet. Perhaps some of these long-extinct species might have even quenched their thirst on the shores of Baikal many millions of years ago. Speaking of animals, another staggering aspect of the lake is the wide variety of flora and fauna found there. Baikal is home to around 1,000 species of plants and over 1,550 species of animals. Among those, more than 60% are thought to be endemic to the region, meaning that these species cannot be found in any other part of the world. The uniqueness and breadth of life in and around the lake is not just testament to its age, but also down to a special characteristic of the water body. Baikal is rich in oxygen, and unlike most lakes and rivers, where oxygen content can be reduced as we go deeper, making it more difficult for life forms to sustain themselves. Baikal's waters are well mixed and well oxygenated throughout the water column. There is far less stratification of oxygen when compared to other lakes, which means that conditions are ideal for flora and fauna to thrive even at relative depths. As you would expect with such an ancient and huge place, which is home to so many different species, there are plenty of legends about Baikal and what lies within its waters. One of the most popular myths is that of a water dragon that dwells in Mukorsky Bay, the warmest part of the lake. Some say that this huge lizard-like monster sometimes comes to the surface and takes fishermen to his underwater kingdom. In the past, some locals used to offer furs, jewelry, and food to the beast to placate it and ensure it did not attack them. In the late 1980s, some Soviet scientists surveyed the lake bottom using echolocation equipment, and their devices recorded a certain moving object with a length of more than 30 meters. Spooky, right? However, they were not able to clarify what they had spotted, and the subsequent expeditions in the last few decades have not produced any concrete evidence of any monster lurking in the lake. This has not stopped monster enthusiasts from around the world from trying to discover the dragon with blurry photos of obscure creatures periodically appearing on social media. There are even stranger stories about Baikal, including UFO sightings underwater by military divers, and one local legend even claims that there is a bottomless abyss at the depths of the lake that leads to the netherworld. The likelihood is that there is no giant monster, aliens, or portal to another world in the depths of Baikal, but one can understand why this place has been the subject of many such myths over generations, as it is simply unlike any other water body on the planet. Another characteristic that sets Baikal apart from most other lakes in the world is the pristine nature of its water, with the lake being incredibly clean. In fact, in some photos taken from space, you can see the bottom of the lake several hundreds of meters down. However, the ecosystem of this historic body has been put at risk over the last few decades due to the threat of overfishing and pollution. The Russian government has taken steps to preserve this ecosystem over recent years, while protecting Baikal has also been a global endeavor since 1996, with the lake being declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Baikal is not just a place that enthralls us with its beauty and captures our imagination with its scale and history, but it also allows scientists to peer into how the climate of the planet has varied over millions of years and unlock the secrets of Earth's geological past. So, It is up to us to preserve and protect this extraordinary habitat and ensure it is alive and breathing for many generations to come. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. And if you want to learn more about such unique places and phenomena, subscribe to the channel. We will continue bringing you stories and ideas that blow your mind, as the truth, as they say, is stranger than fiction.